Okay, you're good.
Well, good morning, committee. Irene, it's good to see you back.
You're good to be back.
Now I'm gone, so maybe we'll see how things go. Maybe I can get back by the end of the week. See how things are going with the test and stuff. I guess once you test negative, you're supposed to go 2 or 3 days staying away from people. It's the way I understand it. So we'll just take it one step at a time. I thought we would have Laura Ginsburg in this morning and talk about ag tech, electric fencing, but being cut short because of the power outage, I guess she can't be with us. And what I thought we ought to talk with her about is, they need money to get this thing started. And I was wondering if there was any chance of getting money through Working Lands or through her agency in some form, rather than going to the Appropriations Committee, because they've been advertising her organization that she looks after with the federal money's been advertising grants for a host of things that will help save ag money for innovative things. And I should think that electronic fencing would certainly be something that would be innovative here in this country, and should be able to get money out of her grant stuff, because sometime this week or next, we've got to try to put something together for appropriations in regards to the organic dairy guys, if we can get some help for them. And along those same lines, I don't know if any of you have heard from your conventional guys, but they were getting between 25 and 26 and $7 a hundredweight on their milk, and then things were relatively quiet from them. But now the price for the St. Albans area has dropped down to roughly, I've got $19, and in the Middlebury area it's down a little under $20. So they're starting to feel the pinch with the cost of what the co-op is taking out and the trucking and everything else. So I don't know if we need to put some kind of a package together to send down to approach I think we need to discuss a total package and not just one segment of the industry. So I don't know if there's comments from any of you folks in regards to that or not.
Yeah, so I just go back for a second, Bobby, with the margin insurance protection. We did talk a little bit about that last week, and I'm trying to remember the numbers. It seemed like we needed another, gosh, I don't remember, 700,000 maybe.
Well, there was 300 left. So, and from all indications, that's going to be very important this year that we're in right now.
Yeah.
And Laura could have maybe helped us with those numbers. But, or EB could even fill in on that one, I think. But it's quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, Linda, do you think, can they come back tomorrow, or the ag agency, or did they say?
Well, they are coming, some of them are going to be here tomorrow for a different subject. They're gonna come on the organic dairy farm crisis. But the same players, Laura Ginsburg is gonna be here and Edie Flory, so perhaps you could combine that.
So they'll be in tomorrow, right? So we could add that to the list of things and let them know that we're gonna need some numbers on what they feel they would need to cover, the cost on the program.
Right. Yep. And I wasn't suggesting that was gonna solve the whole problem for the conventional folks, but I think it's a piece of it. And I agree, I think we need to come up with a plan that will help both the organic and the conventional folks in the big bill. But I don't know how much we need.
But I don't know if they'll help us or not, they haven't said anything about the conventional guys when they've been in. But it's kind of hard to do for one and not, try to help them all. I think too, Richie and I have got to chat with Jane in regards to that as well, to see, what she thinks we might be able to get without having problems down there in approach. Are there any other issues that you folks heard of over town meeting that should be brought up and discussed in our committee?
No, that was about it. At least for me.
I know our town meeting, there was a lot of discussion on S5, but of course that's not a bill that we dealt with, and
So,
and
I would just say to you, Bobby, that the only thing I heard about was Salvation Farms.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I got a nice note from her, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
But I naturally was in Johnson, and Salvation Farms came up.
and they still need that. What was it, $100,000, wasn't it?
Oh, it's
No, it was 550.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But it is, the other piece that I think that as we talk about the organic farmers in any farm health, we're gonna run into a balk in appropriations if it's ongoing money.
Yeah,
If it's one-time money, it's way different than ongoing.
yeah, one-time money is one thing, but that ongoing is not good.
Well, the question really is, as we talk about the organic farmers, and I want to help them, in the place they're in right now, but they can't think that this is going to go on forever.
No, and we never did hear, what justified the $5 other than that's what they felt, that the price was lacking. You know, their price in 22. But we don't have anything to verify that with, which is kind of difficult to argue for without, you know, some real solid facts.
Yep.
And I don't know if EB has those numbers, or somebody over at the agency, the guys that, you know, we had in from the two Stony Fields and the organic dairy guys, you know, they said that last week, didn't we have, or the week before, we had them in, and they said there was an oversupply of milk and an under, the price was high, so they couldn't sell it, and so they had more milk than they needed, and it's like anything else, if you have more than you can sell, you have to take a hit. So maybe tomorrow, EB and between her and Laura, we can get some numbers out of them in regards to that.
Right here.
Have you guys thought any more about that electronic fencing thing? And do you think that's something that you'd want to support in doing a 1 year or 2 year program on seeing if we get that developed in Vermont?
It sounds like, Dan Smith, did he get some funds to do it?
He needs some too.
He needs some, okay. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like an interesting idea to me.
I'm trying to remember what he needed, Bobby.
I know he got some money from some foundations, right?
Yeah.
And maybe some other funds, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see what that would look like as a pilot at a couple farms.
I think what he said was he's lined up 300 collars from the company.
Right.
And the problem is nobody else can get collars here, so we can't do any. And he's lined up some relationship with Washington Electric to do a broader piece, but I personally, it's exciting. I think it really looks like the future, and a lot of land that would have to sit there because to fence something is extremely expensive.
Yeah, and it cuts down, it sounds like, on herbicide, pesticide use, if you're trying to get certain areas, you know, cut down, you know, invasives or around telephone poles, things like that, could be really good to see what. So that'd be an interesting part of the study, is if they could do something like that, sort of off farm in a non-traditional site, just to see how it works.
I think when we spoke to him, and that was March 3rd, he was waiting to hear back from the Dairy Business Innovation Center whether he was getting their grants. So I'm fine with him getting the money from them. He does.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to see him exhaust all his other sources before he comes to us, because I feel like we're the backstop.
I just say with that, the Dairy Innovation Center would be only the dairy piece of this.
Yep.
If you're gonna do anything in power lines with goats, sheep, or beef cattle or anything else, he would, and I think that if you're gonna go to the power companies where they spread the herbicides, it's gonna be money that would be outside of that.
He also has money already from Sterling the Heifers at the Creedland Line Foundation, so maybe that could be goat money. Like, I don't know how he can allocate this, but I think what a lot rides on is whether he gets the DBIC grant, and once we find that out from him, I think it's easier for us to move forward.
Didn't he also say you already have 3 farms kind of lined up?
Yeah, he does.
So were they all dairy?
I believe they were beef, weren't they, Rich?
I think he's had beef there's one in.
Even Hardwick, Organic Dairy and
Yeah,
Wells.
Orwell.
And Wells. So it has one of each.
One of each, and then I think they're looking to do sheep and goats, and the goats would be particularly for the power company.
I wonder if the power company does any grants.
Well,
That's loaded.
if you could
They're
show them that they don't
loaded,
have to spend as much on herbicides.
Well, and also, yeah, well, that's right, they would be doing. that.
Well,
right? Labor
I think their concern is that what the power companies need to do is see this works.
Right.
And then start they can internally shift money out of their budget that goes for, you know, limb trimming and that which I think we just experienced a
Yeah.
tree on the line, so.
One less to trim.
Right, but I think that's what he's trying, part of the study will do is show them that this
Yeah.
works. And then,
I agree with Richie. I think this is exciting innovation and whatever part we can play in kind of seeding it, no pun intended, you know, to see whether it does work. I mean, maybe it doesn't work. I don't know. He says it works in Norway. Richie's got that video that sure looks like it works.
So, but what I'm hearing is you'd like a little combination of money from some from us, some from maybe a little from the power company and a little from, if we could get either from Working Lands or the Dairy Innovation Center, a combination of 2 or 3 plots. So none of us would have to put in a great big sum of money.
Yeah.
I think for Dan, it would be, what's his budget? Because he's already said he's got some grant money and he's got this. I just think that we haven't seen, what's his budget and what's the hole he wants us to fill?
Yeah, I think, isn't he on the schedule, Linda, for this week sometime?
Tomorrow morning at 9, he's coming.
So we should get that proposed budget, I would hope, from him, you know, when he comes in this week.
Yep.
And then, so is there anything else that sitting on the table that we need to get out before crossover this week?
Where did our miscellaneous ed bill go? Probes or finance?
Finance.
What was in it?
The fees.
Oh, okay.
I expect that will come out tomorrow because I looked at their agenda
Okay.
and they're taking it up tomorrow. So that means notice Thursday probably and then floor on Friday, I hope.
Yeah, that's the bill you're reporting, right, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is the Dairy Innovation Board report. You know, we need to really get that into bill form to send over to the milk commissions for enabling legislation. And what it would do is give them, if they so chose, to look into the dairy pricing, and it would give them enabling legislation if they so chose to do an Vermont over-order milk pricing program. And that was, of course, the purpose of the study, right? You know, that's what the task force came up with. But it was also a suggestive thing to present to the Milk Commission, and they would have, you know, this additional tool that they haven't had to look at if they so chose.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys have thought at all much about that issue.
Can't say I have.
So, it looks like, we've got work coming, from getting questions answered from Laura and Evie. And then we got Smith coming, to, chat about the electric fence thing. And I almost think he's supposed to bring some language in regards to the bill from the task force to send over to the Milk Commission.
I think you're right.
So have you thought any more about for today? We're supposed to have Michael coming in regards to our animal welfare bill. Do you know if Michael's coming, Linda?
Today, no,
No.
he
So-
got limited time and we went past it.
Yeah, you
I'll
folks,
reschedule him.
you folks did hear that he had his daughter back in the hospital and
Oh,
he's having to work from home because of the proximity to the hospital and might have to go over there, at a moment's notice. So that makes it hard on Michael as well as hard on us. But we'll get him in as quick as we can, either remotely or personally on that.
was that gonna be something, Bobby, that we did a separate bill on, or can we just tack it on to what comes over from the House and their miscellaneous bill?
Yeah, we could do that as well, There's a lot of different ways that, that we can deal with that down the road. If we don't get it done this week, we'll figure out a way to get it done with what Dave sends over to us from the House.
Okay, I did have a chance this morning. Michael sent, I think there were 5 or 6 little reports from Maine. And I looked at them and it's a pretty, to stand up a program like Maine's is gonna be more than just a couple of days worth of work, I think. But they've got a lot more area to cover there too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Right?
I mean, their budget is $12 billion, double what Vermont is. Not just for that.
Oh, yeah, no,
Well,
yeah.
That would be some kind of committee. But anyway,
Over in Maine, it's that much, Brian?
12.7 billion.
For the state,
Yeah.
right, state budget, yeah.
Holy Somalian.
Well, Bobby, weren't you telling us when you first got here, what'd you say it was? 200 million?
Yes, yeah, way back in, it was like $202 million, the state budget. And we had a wicked fight over on the House side and
Gosh,
the guy from Montgomery resigned and
that's
we were ruining the state and it never recover. And oh yeah, it was a rough situation. And
Was that Representative Westman?
No, that was just,
Woodward, wasn't it? I think
Yeah.
Representative Woodward or
wasn't his name Dan Woodward?
he owned a little old schoolhouse over there, made wooden toys for children all out of wood, and he was a good guy, but, very, very, conservative and, counted every dollar, which you should do, and he didn't agree with the budget at all. But anyways, state's still in business, and I don't know, got a pretty high, I think our number ends with a B now.
I think so.
A lot of Bs, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other work that you wanted to bring up for today?
Well, you mentioned when you started, Mr. Chair, the right to farm. I don't know where we are on that. But again, we've got the rest of this week to sort of wrap that up, I guess.
Well, I think, Brian, you were the one that had some questions
Right.
about where we left off on that. Did you have some updates that you were?
No, but I can reach out to Michael. I'll make that a priority tomorrow.
Yeah. Cause I don't know, but I thought the rest of us were somewhat in agreement where we were, but Brian had several lingering questions that he wanted to get clarified on that particular issue. So that would be good if you could.
Okay, I'll write to
You
him
may,
now.
you may have to email him because I doubt if he's
Yeah.
gonna be in the office, Brian.
Okay,
Yeah,
Mr. Chair, there's a bill in the House.
Pardon?
There's a bill in the House, I think, to help farmers transition into different types of farming. Are you familiar with this? And I didn't know if we're gonna see that maybe after crossover, and that's another thing to think about as a way to help some of our dairy farmers, if they can be convinced to transition to something else. And I'm not referring to the beef on the dairy, which we've also heard about as another program to help the dairy farmers, but this one House bill, and I don't know the number offhand, talks about sending some money to farmers to help them train or convert their farm into a different type of farm perhaps. So I think that's also something to add to the mix of how we're helping,
Yeah.
right?
Dave, I don't believe Dave, when we met, has mentioned that, but I think, yeah, if they're working on that and that plan to get it over to us, that would be a good vehicle to work on and maybe help push along.
I mean, it seems to fall into that vein of, not spending money and watching the money disappear, right? It's money directed towards something that shows progress or change or.
I would just say, and this is
Yeah.
not saying what I would do with the 9 million for organic farm.
Right.
I'd rather do something forward looking than back.
Sure.
And I would just say, I just heard during the break that the one local farmer that I have that is organic, they're talking about leaving the business this summer. And they would be getting a check for organic, but they're looking to move to something else. And I would much rather help them move to something else and be able to continue than the looking back piece.
Sure.
If it was a choice.
Right. Although some of them have so many debts from 2022.
Right.
I don't know that we, unless they're made whole, right? I don't know if they can move forward.
No, I
So
know,
that's the-
I-
that's the-
That, I can't tell, but I'd rather be forward looking than
Same
that.
here, same here.
That's not,
Yeah,
that's not,
so it could be a combination of things that would get it resolved, rather than just one payment for a certain thing. There'd be certain money losses in certain monies for innovative switch outs to a different type of ag. And yeah, that, you know, throwing money down a hole isn't a big thing that I've ever supported. It's good to stretch it out if you can to alternative programs. Yeah.
Thanks.
So you don't know the number that, right?
No, I could find it, but probably not quickly.
The, so your town meetings all went well?
Yes,
Yeah,
Where as I know, I wasn't
well,
around.
that's right.
I was in Florida.
How'd that go,
Yeah.
Brian? I was talking with my brother
Bobby, do you want to stay?
earlier this weekend, and he said they had golf ball hail down there in Kissimmee and that area.
Well, not in Holiday. It
I
was
think,
perfect.
yeah,
Holiday's about 12 miles north of Tampa, and it was 80 and sunny all the time I was there.
oh my gosh, just what you ordered.
Senator Starr, do you want me to stop live now? Are you
I
done?
think,
Are you done with the committee meeting?
yeah, I think we could adjourn our official meeting and we'll just try to get that bill number from, if Irene comes up with it. If not, then maybe you could check with Dave or whoever does the house and
Yep.
and we could look at that and find out if they're serious about moving that along.